I'm 17. I just want to ask you, if you wanted to tell your younger 17-year-old self a quote, what would it be?
At 17, the biggest mistake that every 17-year-old makes on earth is they think they're supposed to. You think you're supposed to, based on your family, based on what content you consume, based on your life. You think you're supposed to X. You think you're supposed to Y. Now, with the way the world is, some 17-year-olds live in families where they think they're supposed to not go to college and be an entrepreneur because their folks are. But maybe you fucking love going to school that way and that's your path, and you fear being an entrepreneur because you've seen your parents struggle with entrepreneurship. More likely, you think you're supposed to do this college thing or be at this or be at that, or you want to be an influencer or you're supposed to be a lawyer. Bro, at 17, what you need to realize is how lucky you are. How many people here would give it all up to be 17 again? Raise your hand. One more time, because I want this kid to have a moment. You could literally do nothing right for the next 17 years of your life. Do you know what I was doing professionally at 34 years old? I worked at my father's liquor store. I haven't even started what I am now today to everyone here. You have such a scary amount of time. What would I tell you to do? Take a step back and really think about what you like what you watch, gaming, music, rock climbing, but whatever it is, you have so much time to actually go chase it. Live humbly though. Don't have your parents or grandparents support your dream. If you have a dream and you want to live it, then fucking live on the floor with your buddies, right? Don't become entitled and have some pay for your dream. But if you have a dream, go try to go after it for 6, 7, 10 years. And after 10, 12, 17 years, then you could be like, all right, look, I went after it. When I'm 80, I'll never regret. I wanted to be this. You got to be self-aware. I couldn't look at myself and be like, I want to be in the NBA. That's delusional. But you can absolutely fucking do anything, and none of it, if it goes wrong, will matter. You need to make sure you do it the proper way. Do you know why everybody raised their hand? Because as you get older, this very scary thing starts to creep in. You don't know about this shit yet, but let me tell you what it's called. It's called regret. And regret is the fucking worst. And so what I want you to do for the next 17 years is live your life without regret. Don't blame your parents for making you go to this or become that. Do what the fuck you want on your own 2 feet, not their paper. Do it the right way and do it for a decade. And if it doesn't work out, then you can get a bullshit job.
Only $5. Why not $7?
Well, I've never done that. I've always tried to be right. I make $1 off each one. If I sold 7,000 yesterday, I made 70
Johnny,
grand.
there's not enough margin for me as a distributor. I need to be able to sell it for $12 at least so that I can make some profit and you can make some profit, right? Because there's 2 of us, 2 mouths to feed.
Yeah, but you're selling to farmers.
Okay, I get it, but I'm exploring where your head's at, all right?
Okay.
I can't get involved with you because there's not enough margin for me as a distributor. I need like 2,000 Johnnies calling on farmers all across the land. Now, who's going to pay them, Johnny? Who's going to pay them? I'm out. Johnny?
Yes, sir.
Farmers are the cornerstone of America. There may be a lot of farmers out there that can't afford $12 per tree, but maybe they could afford $6 or $7. I'm going to give you everything you're asking for, your $150,000 for 20%. What you're doing is right, and you deserve the chance to make it big and do a lot of good. I'd like to be your partner, Johnny. I like everything you stand for, man, and I like everything. I think that's a yes, JP.
Yes, sir.
I married my girl when I was broke. They say go out there, get rich, and then get your woman. It's wrong, because all you're gonna find is a freaking gold digger. That's a straight up fact. You need to find your woman when you're young, when you're broke, so you guys can grow together and bond together.
Who's a great woman in this world? Dee Devlin is Conor McGregor's wife. She had supported Conor McGregor from day one. He was on welfare and she was working full time to help that man out. And you can see when you watch these interviews with him, that woman is like blindly loyal to McGregor in a great way. And he says it all the time. If I didn't have this great woman with me, there is no way I would have been able to ascend to such great heights. When you're a man and you have a good woman by your side that does not give you stress and she makes you feel safe and she knows that you like the world is yours. There's no treachery. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why these guys conquer.
Are you familiar with Khalil Gibran?
Yes.
He wrote a book. He wrote The Prophet, 1923, but he wrote another book called Sand and Foam. In that book, he told a story of a man who had been away from his family for 4 months working, and he was excited to come home. And as he was coming home, he knew that the mountain, when he saw the mountain, that he would be able, he was close to home. So his five senses started having a conversation, and his eyes says, I see a mountain, I see a mountain, I see a mountain. And so the ears perked out and said, I don't hear a mountain. The nose sniffed and said, I don't smell a mountain. The tongue tasted the air, I don't taste a mountain. And the other four senses started speaking among themselves, and they came to the conclusion that there must be something the matter with the eye, because they couldn't perceive it. But all of these things, we've been misled just because we've been fooled by our senses.
A person who truly loves someone else doesn't strive at all costs never to upset them. That's the devouring mother. Look, if you love someone and they're doing something stupid and self-destructive and you can see it, it's incumbent on you to say, you know, this is going to upset you, but as far as I can tell, you're doing something stupid and self-destructive. And then there's going to be a tussle about that, because they're going to say, well, who are you to judge? And that's a perfectly good question, is what makes you think you're right? And here's the reasons I'm doing this. And, you know, these are the terrible experiences that I've had that have led me to take this path. And sometimes that can be really compelling. You know, you meet people who are bitter and resentful, and then they tell you about their life, and you think, well, yeah. But then you meet people who've had just as terrible a life, who aren't bitter and resentful, right? And they're doing better. And so even if it seems justifiable, maybe even if it is justifiable, it's not justifiable.
Four signs that you are doing better than you think. 1. You changed a lot since last year. Change is a sign of growth. Don't fear change. Fear that you stay the same. 2. You went through hard times. Going through hardships is good. It means you are growing stronger, even when things get tough. 3. You seek peace over pleasure. Most people just look for that next dopamine hit. 4. You learn from your mistakes. Most people run away from their problems and blame others. The best thing you can do for yourself is to believe in yourself when nobody else does.
A life without discipline is a disaster. If you lack discipline, listen to this to the end. Number 1, the greatest moment of your life will be the moment you figure out nobody cares about you and nobody will save you from yourself. Then you will realize that you must make yourself valuable. Number 2, becoming your perfect self requires a lot of goodbyes. This doesn't just apply to people. Number 3, the fastest way to succeed is to start now and figure out the specifics later. You can't learn to drive in a parked car. Number 4, many people want you to think discipline isn't important. These people do not want you to respect yourself. Discipline is the biggest form of self-respect. Number 5, if a man doesn't match his words, he's not a man, he's just a boy who likes to talk. Number 6, vision without action is a dream. Action without vision is a nightmare. And finally, number 7, day by day. What you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you become.
Man that has been alone for a while. He doesn't mind being alone. He doesn't mind eating by himself. He entertains himself and always stays busy. He's not out here sharing himself with everybody just so he can feel wanted. He knows his worth. He's strong, but he's already been through a lot. That's where he gained his strength. He doesn't wish the things he went through on anyone, but at the same time knows he wouldn't be the man he is now without them. That's why he knows his worth. Many men would have fallen victim to the battles he has had to fight, but not him. He persevered. This man has been building himself for years. Nobody is going to tell him who he is or how he should live his life. He knows who he is and where he's going. Anyone who doubts him will be proven wrong. Anyone who stands in his way will be discarded. And even though he's made it this far on his own, he's always looking for someone who can be an asset to his life, someone that will match his energy and build with him. The trouble is, finding someone like that is easier said than done these days. If you want growing every day, this is the right time to join our journey.
I would say, in my opinion, that women tend to bond quicker But men, when we bond for life. I have a buddy who I haven't seen in 15 years. We text maybe once or twice a year, but he still remains that person to me. That if 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, he's in trouble in Rhode Island, I get my ass on a plane and I fly there and I'm there for him, 0 questions asked. But women, if they don't talk to their friend, there is a problem where that relationship in their mind is potentially over. When you bond with a guy, it's so difficult to get there, that stuff just doesn't go away. I don't need to speak to my buddy every month or every year, although it's great to check in and make sure everything is all fine. But once I bond with someone, or once a man bonds with another man, you are always there for that person and that man is always there for you. And it does not matter how much time has gone by. When you're my guy, you are my guy. That is life. That stuff sticks forever. Until you learn one essential truth. Day after day, year after year, you will repeat the same mistakes, encounter the same obstacles, and wonder, what am I doing wrong? You will get more frustrated and disillusioned. You will become an old, bitter person who blames life for everything you didn't achieve. You will say things like, I've tried everything. It's just not fair. But the truth is, we all try to change everything except the one thing that's required to change. And until you learn to react differently, until you learn to think differently, until you say enough is enough and decide to become something different, nothing will ever change. Life will continue to put you in the same situation.
Do it excited, do it angry, do it heartbroken, do it miserable, do it excited, do it energized, do it happy, do it tired, do it confident, do it discouraged, do it anyway.
They're watching you, big dog, they're watching you. And guess what? Each and every one of those motherfuckers are waiting. They're waiting for you to drop the ball. They're waiting for you to come up short. They're waiting for them to be able to say, we were right. He doesn't have him in him. He doesn't have the dog in him. This is up to you. This one shot, this one opportunity. You're going to be tested, big dog. And if the world doesn't believe in you, just know I fucking do. And you're going to go out there and absolutely kill it. Every goal you had, you're smashing. This is our year. Let's go out and get it. It's time to level up. Let's go.
You go to the gym and you work out and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. And if you go to the gym the next day and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. Clearly there's no results, can't be measured. It must not be effective. So we quit. You can screw it up. You can eat chocolate cake one day, you can skip a day or two. But if you stick with it consistently, I'm not exactly sure what day, but I know you'll start getting into shape. Going to the gym for 9 hours does not get you into shape. Working out every day for 20 minutes gets you into shape. It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency.
Eagles can live up to 70 years because they are mentally strong. After 40 years, every eagle has to make a difficult decision. Its claws are no longer sharp enough to hunt. Its beak becomes bent and blunt, and its feathers become thick. The eagle has 2 options. Either it dies, or it goes through a painful change. This painful change is that the eagle must go to the mountain and crush its beak on a rock until it falls out. When the old beak falls out, a new beak grows in. With the new beak, the eagle rips out its claws, and new ones grow in. Then the eagle plucks out its feathers, and new ones grow in. This painful journey lasts 150 days, but after doing this, the eagle gets a new life. Sometimes we need to get rid of our old self in order for a new and better version to emerge.
You can't just wait for things to get perfect. You can just go out and do stuff. Fuck your motivation. Fuck your motivation. You need discipline. Because motivation's not there every day. I'm missing motivation most days. Sometimes I got motivation. Sometimes I'm like, fuck yeah, today I felt good. I can't wait to get to the gym. But a lot of days, like, gotta get to the gym. And then once I get going, then I feel great. Yeah. And I feel great when it's over. But it's that beginning part that's hard because your body wants to stay comfortable.
Every time I start doing things I don't want to do, I grow.
Yes.
You
That's a lesson that people need to hear and learn. It's so important because everybody just wants to be comfortable. Everybody wants to sit on the couch. I don't want to go outside, it's cold. I don't want to do this, it's hot. Like, you've got to do things that you don't want to do because you show your body that your mind is the boss. Your mind is telling your body what to do, and then you have control. You can't just wait for things to get perfect.
It's can you push yourself as hard as you fucking can on your sets. I'm not going to say that that's all there is to it, but the guys in your gym who push themselves the hardest in their training, they're the guys who have the best results. And it's not purely because they're just training hard and that's it. Obviously, they're getting good sleep, they're getting good fucking calorie intake and macros and everything. But, I mean, if you want to get big, if you want to make progression, for whatever sake, be it you kind of had the fat guy upbringing and you're trying to change your ways, or if you just fucking love the idea of being a freak, then you got to translate that energy into every fucking set that you do. It's can you push yourself as hard as you fucking can on your sets.
We all want to be a beast. Do you know what a beast is? A beast is someone who can walk through hell and be grateful that their legs are working. A beast is someone who has lost everything, but they are grateful for the opportunity to get everything back plus more. A beast is somebody who has hit rock bottom and says, this is amazing, it's only up from here. That's a beast. We all want to be a beast.
Keep this in mind. If you have food in your fridge, clothes on your body, a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of people in the world. If you have money to spend as you wish and freedom to go anywhere you want, you're among the top 18% of the world's wealthiest people. Furthermore, if you're alive today with more health than illness, you're more blessed than the million people who will not survive this week. Lastly, if you can read and understand this message, you're more fortunate than the 3 billion people who cannot see, cannot read, and cannot access the knowledge and information that surrounds us. Life is not for complaining about pain and sorrows. It's about prioritizing the countless other reasons to be grateful and happy.
92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 500.
The greater the calling on someone's life, the greater the testing, right? In other words, if God has this massive plan built out for you, He is going to put you through incredibly difficult, challenging situations. Why, you might ask, right? Why not just have an easy life? Because God does not care about the outcome. He doesn't care about what you gain. He doesn't care about the watch you wear, the car you drive, the house you live in. He cares about one thing only: the character that you develop. And the way that God establishes and builds our character is through incredibly difficult trials and tribulations and suffering and pain. So guess what? If you want to ask for a massive life, be prepared for a massive amount of sacrifice.
I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're gay, or straight, rich, or poor, it doesn't fucking matter. Everybody's headed the same direction. We're all gonna die. And that's not morbid. I don't look at it as morbid. I look at that as real. Like literally before I came in here, I did this Facebook post where I was like, dude, if you knew that you weren't gonna make it home for dinner tonight, I just literally did this Facebook post 2 hours ago. If you knew you weren't gonna make it home to dinner tonight, what would you now do? Who would you call? Who would you text? Where would you go? Go do that shit. Because here's the crazy thing, bro. Like there are people that aren't gonna make it home to dinner tonight. And that's not, oh, you know what? We'll do that next year. We'll take that trip later. And I'm not talking about being reckless. I'm not talking about dudes cashing everything out and being fiscally irresponsible. What I'm talking about is really understanding that this game is way fucking different than we've been programmed to believe it is. To work until we're 65 and then we can relax and then we can enjoy. You're fucking dead. You're dead then. Your body doesn't work anymore. You're not gonna want to learn anything new. Your kids are old. They don't give a shit about you. They're married and moved off and the whole thing. Like now what? You go read every single biography from every Carnegie, Rockefeller, Steve Covey, like anybody who's created any type of rip. Every single one of them says the same thing in the end of the book. All of them. Like all of them. Without fail. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would have spent more time with my family. When God wants to make a man powerful, He always shreds him into pieces first. Never forget it's a process with God. Without pain, there would be no growth. So accept the pain. Embrace the pain. Because God is there to ask you, do you really want to achieve your goals? And when you start walking with God,
people will stop walking with you. Not because they don't like you, but because you're about to sacrifice things. They're not willing to sacrifice. And when God takes you to deep waters, not everyone will be able to swim with you. However, do not confuse movement with progress, because you can run in place, but not get anything done. I want you to take a moment and think. Are you moving forward? Who are you taking with? And how are you making things better? By God's given power. You have a gift. You were born with it. Now it's time for you to develop that gift. You need to do everything necessary to protect it, and then you share it. The process won't be easy, but trust in God's plan. Keep pushing forward and never give up. God bless you.
Steve Jobs died a billionaire at the age of 56 with a capital of $7 billion from pancreatic cancer. And these are just some of his last words at this moment. Lying in bed, ill and remembering my whole life, I realize that all the recognitions and wealth are insignificant in the presence of imminent death. As we get older, we get smarter, and we slowly understand that whether the clock is worth $30 or $300, they both show the exact same time. Whether we drive a $150,000 car or a $2,000 car, we'll arrive at the same destination. So there are 5 facts that cannot be denied. Don't educate your children to be rich. Educate them to be happy, so when they grow up, they will know the value of things and not their price. Eat your food as a medicine, otherwise you will have to eat your medicine as food. The one who loves you will never leave you. Even if you have 100 reasons to give up, you will always find a reason to hold on. There's a big difference between being a human and being. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
I asked God, "Why are you taking me through troubled waters?" He replied, "Because your enemies can't swim." I asked, "Why do I always feel like I'm failing and struggling?" He answered, "Because your growth and accomplishments come from facing challenges and overcoming difficulties. Every failure is a stepping stone to success." I asked God again, "Why do I sometimes feel like life is filled with pain and helplessness?" He responded, "Because in your weakest moments I am by your side. I use your pain to shape your character and your helplessness to showcase my power." Continuing, I inquired, "Why do I have to experience disappointment and setbacks?" He replied, "Because in disappointment you learn to trust. In setbacks you learn to persevere. I am with you every step of the way, guiding you toward victory." Finally, I asked, "Why do I always feel confused and lost?" He answered, "Because you overlook my plan for your life. When you focus on me, I will smooth your path and provide you with clear direction. Trust me, everything is within my control."
Where is he? Where the fuck is he? Where's that savage that was once inside you? Where's that kid that had all those fucking dreams and all those plans for your future? You're a shell of the man you once were. Now, you're an absolute fucking coward. I want you to take your shirt off and look in that fucking mirror and see how far you let yourself go. Do all this talking about getting in shape, saving money, getting in a gym, but it's just that. It's all fucking talk. Today it changes. No more talking. Action only. Offense only. No defense. It's time to level up. Let's go.
When God is ready to turn it around, no person can stop it. I truly believe that. No sickness, no addiction, no problem, nothing can stand in the way of what God has purposed for your life. His plans are bigger than our setbacks. You see, sometimes we get caught up in the challenges, the obstacles that seem insurmountable, but those are just temporary. God's power is limitless. His love for us is unending. When he decides to move, mountains crumble, doors open, and what seemed impossible becomes possible. Think about the story of Joseph. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It looked like his dreams were shattered, but God had a plan. In his perfect timing, he elevated Joseph to a position of power, second only to Pharaoh. What looked like a setback was actually a setup for something greater. So, whatever you are facing today, know this: God is with you. His timing is perfect. Remember, God's promises are true. What he has spoken over your life will come to pass. No enemy, no circumstance can thwart his plans. If you received this message, comment "Faith over fear" and share it with a friend. God bless.
Do it today, because one day you can't. One day you can't run. One day you can't lift. One day you can't push yourself. To do more, to learn more, to be more. You owe it to them, to your future self, to try everything you want to try, to go everywhere you want to go, to evolve into everything you know you're capable of. Regret is the enemy, and the only time to fight it is today.
I came into this world screaming and covered with blood. I don't mind going out the same way. I only fear God, not his creation. I don't give a fuck how many are against me. God put them against me because he knows I will win.
Discipline your thoughts. Stop thinking too much. Don't go into the past. Don't go into the future. Be in the present. Why? Because only then it's possible that the mind is free, the capacity is free, and now you can completely immerse into whatever you are doing. And this means you have arrived.
Self-belief is something that is purported and pushed. It's something that is advertised by a bunch of people. You got to believe in yourself. You have to understand, you don't have to believe in yourself for all the hippie garbage reasons they're giving you. You have to believe in yourself because every single time you're going to want to do something which is exceptional, you're going to have to suffer. And the only way you can suffer is if you believe you will reach it to the other side. You believe it will work in the end.
By age 23, you should be smart enough to realize this. 1. No one is coming to solve your problems. Your life is 100% your responsibility. 2. Your 9 to 5 is someone's passive income. Find new ways to make money and create your own income stream. 3. You shouldn't take advice from people who are not where you want to be in life. 4. If you find someone smarter than you, work with them. Don't compete. 5. Don't tell people more than they need to know. Respect your privacy. 6. Avoid alcohol at all costs. Nothing is worse than losing your senses and acting like a fool. 7. Comfort is the worst addiction and a cheap ticket to depression. I'm working on 3 things right now. Myself, my life, and my peace. So if you're not contributing to any of those, respectfully, do not disturb.
I used to think money was one of my problems. Money's not a problem. Now, up until then, I always thought it was. But the only problem is the lack of an idea on how to create money, how to create wealth, how to give service, how to earn money. So it's not the lack of money that's the problem, it's the lack of an idea. So ideas can change your life. And ideas are not really that difficult to come by. A new idea is just as close as the next book you open. It's just as close as striding into the library, the bookstore, or attending the next class, or meeting the next person that might have some experience beyond yours, and out of conversation comes some good ideas.
Listen, let's get something straight.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
You're gonna hear this from me one fucking time.
I don't care. I don't care what you think about me.
Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself.
Those who can't talk about those who can.
I've been him. I've been a difference maker, a game changer. I've been that guy. So what will change? Not a darn thing.
The thing I hear women say all the time, and I think this is a lack of self-awareness from women, is they will say things like, I want my man to be vulnerable. And they think what they want is for their man to unload all the shit that he's going through. But here's the reality. A guy goes through a lot to take care of his family, to protect those he loves, and to be a man. If he unloads that on his woman, he's going to destroy her peace. He's going to destroy the peace of the home. A man has to sacrifice his peace so that he can provide peace for his family. A peace that he'll never know. And that's just the role of being a man that goes out his front door every day to take care of his family. If you start treating your wife or your woman like she's your mother, you want her to wipe your nose, you want her to pick you up and tell you it's going to be all right, she's going to start acting like your mother, and it's going to destroy your relationship. As men, we have to be stoic. We have to hold those cards close to our chest, but the reality is it's really unhealthy for us as men to do that. That's why it's so important that you have a tribe around you, that you have like-minded brothers with you, that are going to be in the boat pulling the oars with you, that are going to be guys you can trade war stories with, guys that can tell you when you're being a bitch, or telling you, hey man, we got your back, or we're there for you. That's where you take your shit and you unload it, is with your tribe. You don't take it home. You don't go destroy the peace and the harmony of the home that you are fighting to protect by bringing all the shit that you're dealing with and unloading it there. You take it to your homies sitting around the proverbial fire, you share your shit with each other, you level up, and you get back out there and you do it again the next day. That's the journey of being a man.
You're going to realize it one day. That happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all of those who came before you. It was never about being like the others. One day you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself, that your happiness was never in the hands of others. One day you will realize that true happiness comes from within, and no external factors can define it. It was always about you. It was always about you.
7 signs you are becoming a better man every day. Number 1, you understand that life is better when nobody knows much about you. Number 2, you prioritize self-improvement over seeking validation from others. Number 3, you don't force your beliefs on people but actively listen to others without judgment. Number 4, you understand that not everyone thinks the same way you do. Number 5, you continuously seek opportunities to learn, grow, and expand your horizons. Number 6, you embrace consistency and discipline, not just motivation and self-help books. Number 7, you don't care about what others think about the decisions you've made for a better life.
One of the most important lessons in life that you should know is to remember to have an attitude of gratitude, of humility. Understand where the gift comes from. It's not mine. It's been given to me by the grace of God. Use what I have. Use what you have to help others. You know, on your last day, you can't take it with you. Yes, that's true. But you can leave it here. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse.
No one ever said you get a fair opportunity. Everybody starts in a different place. That's not fair. What matters is where you go from where you start to where you end. Not that Johnny down the street had rich parents, or Tommy down the street, he inherited a bunch of money from his grandpa, or he works in his grandpa's company. What the fuck does that matter to you? And most of you spend your whole lives being a poor little me bitch and not having anything because you're too worried about what other people are doing. You know what the quickest way for you to have no money is? To count other motherfuckers' money. Start counting your own money.
This isn't a hack. This has to be in you. Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you.
So one day, and this is another reason why I don't complain, playing against the New York Knicks, have a terrible game. So my father calls me up, tail home. So I come home, we land late. Be here tomorrow at 0500 a.m. Like, what? You heard what I said? Yes, sir. So I go home, wake up 5 a.m. We get in the car, we're driving. And if my father don't speak, you don't speak. You don't speak until you're spoken to, ever. So I said something and he's like, what? So now he's upset. What, you couldn't handle the pressure? I'm not gonna handle the pressure. So now he's very upset. We ride and we, under this bridge, it's a homeless family. And he's sitting, he turns the light off, we're sleeping in a little tent. And we're just sitting and waiting. 5:36. About 6:30, the guy comes out. And my father said, that's pressure. And then the wife comes out, then the 2 babies come out. He said, pressure is when you don't know where your next meal is coming from. Tired of you rich, spoiled athletes not performing to your level and saying you can't handle the pressure. You don't know what pressure is. You still get paid after a bad game. It's not pressure, this is pressure.
One of the reasons why I work out so hard is when I work out really hard, I have respect for myself. Yes. For that day, I know I'm not a lazy piece of shit. For that day, I know I'm focused. For that day, when I'm done, I'm like, I know who I am. I get shit done.
Dear Jim, you have actually changed my life. When I was in a place of darkness, you showed me the way to light. Because of you, I found brotherhood and a sense of purpose. We don't go to the gym to lift weights. We go because the weights lift us.
A young man applied for a job as a farmhand. When the farmer asked for his qualifications, he said, I can sleep through a storm. This puzzled the farmer, but he liked the young man, so he hired him. A few weeks later, the farmer and his wife were awakened in the night by a violent storm ripping through the valley. He leapt out of bed and called for his new hired hand, but the young man was sleeping soundly. So they quickly began to check things to see if all was secure. They found that the shutters of the farmhouse had been securely fastened. A good supply of logs had been set next to the fireplace. The farmer and his wife then inspected their property. They found that the farm tools had been placed in the storage shed, safe from the elements. The bales of wheat had been bound and wrapped in tarpaulins. The tractor had been moved into its garage. The barn was properly locked tight. Even the animals were calm and had plenty of feed. All was well. The farmer then understood the meaning of the young man's words. I can sleep through a storm. Because the farmhand did his work loyally and faithfully when the skies were clear, he was prepared for any storm. Moral: preparation and diligence during calm times lead to peace and security during difficult times.
You go to the gym and they say you're obsessed. Don't go to the gym and they say you're skinny or fat. You eat bad food and they say you need to eat healthier. Eat healthier and they call you a health nut. You lift heavy and they call you an ego lifter. Lift light and they call you weak. You hide your physique and they say you're insecure. You show it confidently and they say you're showing off. Moral of the story is, people are going to talk smack about whatever you do in every circumstance. But you are in the arena with a sword in your hand. They are in the stands with a biscuit in theirs.
It's healthy to be psycho once in a while. Climb a mountain. Run a marathon. You need challenges to find your limits. You need limits to find yourself. There's a version of you that only exists at the end of extreme effort. You enter a dark, dreamlike maze inside your mind. You see yourself from the third person, and the only way out is becoming someone new.
The client comes to the contractor and asks, how much will it cost to do this job?
The price is $2,800.
That's too expensive for this job.
How much do you think it should cost?
$800 max.
I can't do the job for so little.
It's a simple job.
I'm sorry you feel this way.
People in your line of work want to make a huge profit.
Why don't you do the job?
But I don't know how to do any of that.
For $900, I can teach you everything you need to know to do the job. You can then use $800 to do the job, and you're still saving $1,100. Also, you will obtain all the knowledge and the experience for the next time you need to do this job.
Deal.
Great. To start, you need to buy tools. You will need a chipping hammer, a nail gun, a laser, a drill, a mixer machine, PPE, and some other things.
But I don't have any of those tools, and I can't buy all that for just one job.
Okay, I can rent you my tools for another $300. You're still saving $800.
That's cutting my savings, but I will rent your tools.
Perfect. I'll be back Saturday and we can start.
Wait, I can't Saturday. I only have time today.
I'm sorry. I only teach others on Saturdays. I have to prioritize my time, and my tools needs to be on other jobs I have during the week.
Okay, then. I will sacrifice my family's plans on Saturday.
Right. Me too. Oh, I forgot. If you're going to do the job yourself, you need to buy the materials. There's a high demand nowadays, so your best bet is to get a truck and be at the hardware store by 6 a.m. before other contractors get there.
At 6 in the morning? On Saturday. That's too early for me. I don't even have a truck.
I guess you'll have to rent one. By the way, do you have some helpers to help you load the truck?
You know what I've been thinking? Probably it's better for you to do the job. It's better to pay you to do the job right, not having to go through all that hassle.
Good thinking. Sign here and let me get to work.
This is the truth. People are not just paying for a job, they are paying for knowledge, experience, tools, time, family sacrifices, and other things you bring to the table.
You want to see a real miracle in your life? Go into a season where your only option is to trust God. You have no option B, C, D. Your only option, your option A through Z is God and having faith in Him delivering you alone. And I remember going into that season dead broke in my mother's basement, crying almost every single night, staying up 3 nights in a row, watching my mother work 2 different jobs, going into that season where you have no option but to trust in Him. That's where the miracles happen. Too many people want to have option B and C and all these worldly options and fail-safes. No, go into the season where you have no option but to watch Him deliver you. And I promise you, when you take that leap, when you burn the ships, that's where the miracle happens. That's where He shows you who He truly is.
The formula really works like this. Take heavy action on a good idea. That's the ratio. Now here's the key. Don't wait till you've learned 2,000 or 3,000 things, because that way you'll use up all the time. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. You can become wealthy.
Be the guy who embraces the ugly, the miserable. Be the guy who embraces hard work, the grind. Don't be afraid of being hurt. Don't be afraid of sacrificing some blood.
Walk away from anyone or anything that gives you bad vibes. There's no need to explain yourself. There's no need to feel bad about it. This is your life. Make more space for your peace and your happiness. There is no more room for negativity in your future.
The more you heal, the more comfortable you are with being the villain in the story of people who don't want to do the work to heal themselves. Not everyone deserves your new version. You took too much to heal yourself. Be demanding about who has access to you.
The devil is not attacking you because you are weak. The devil is attacking you because you are a threat, because there is something valuable inside you. Remember, thieves don't try to break into empty houses. The devil couldn't take you out, so he's trying to wear you out. So don't you ever give in, because the tide is about to turn in your favor. God knows you're tired. He knows you're trying. Put Him first. Trust Him. He will make a way. Even when you aren't sure of the outcome, you can be sure of your God. He is with you. He is for you. And He is working all things together for your good.
Look, I'm sorry your life turned out so bad, but don't blame me. You messed it up yourself. You just focused on the bad stuff when all you had to do was let go of the past and keep moving forward.
You gotta let go of that stuff from the past because it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now.
Age 30, 95% of all men and women over the age of 30 will never sprint again for the rest of their life. Whoa. Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. You know, the more aggressively we seek comfort, the faster we age. We seek comfort. We regulate the temperature in our environment. We regulate the temperature in our vehicles. We regulate the temperature in our offices. We like to work out in an air-conditioned gym. We like to lift until we just feel a little bit of pain and then stop. We don't like to be marginally hungry, so we eat at the first pang of hunger. If you don't load your bone, they don't strengthen. If you don't actually tear a muscle, it won't grow. If you don't challenge the immune system, it will weaken. And so by not challenging ourselves, by not exposing ourselves to different thermal temperatures, it's very good to submerge yourself in cold water. You know, cold plunging is a trend that's really, really catching on, but it has a lot of validity. I mean, for people that can't afford or don't want to get into a cold plunge, you can take a cold shower.
Remember, everybody isn't proud of you. They just surprise because you keep making shit happen.
I will never quit, because if you quit, you're done. You may still be alive walking around on this earth. You're done. I will never quit. I will persevere and I will thrive on adversity. My team expects me to be physically harder and mentally stronger than our opponents. I hold myself to that standard. I will be physically harder and mentally stronger than anything that comes against me, my family, my business, my brothers, my sisters, my team. I will be the one that is physically harder and mentally stronger, and I will work to maintain that position. You won't beat me.
I'm too old to care about who likes me and doesn't like me. I have way more important things to do with my time. If you love me, I love you. If you support me, I support you. If you hate me, I just really don't care. My life goes on without you.
I never force anyone to choose me. If you think you can find something better elsewhere, then go ahead. I'm not holding you back. Life's too short to hang on to someone who's not sure they want to stay. I believe in freedom, in the truth of feelings. If you must stay, let it be your heart tells you this is where you belong, not because I asked you to. I want to be a choice, not a default option. I deserve someone who sees my value, who understands what I bring to their life. I don't want someone who stays with me out of fear of loneliness or out of habit. I want someone who stays for who I am, not who you want me to be. The door is always open. You're free to leave at any time. So if you think your happiness lies elsewhere, I won't stand in your way. And in the meantime, I'll continue to build my own life, to be happy on my own, because my happiness doesn't depend on your presence, but on my own ability to blossom.
If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. That doesn't mean that every wild notion you come up with is going to be genius, but if there is something that you feel is good, something you want to do, something that means something to you, try to do it. Because I think you can only do your best work if you're doing what you want to do, and if you're doing it the way you think it should be done, and if you can take pride in it after you've done it, no matter what it is, you can look at it and say, I did that, and I think it's pretty damn good. That's a great feeling. So don't let idiots talk you out of something that you think is good.
If you let people's perception of you dictate your behavior, you will never grow as a person. But if you leave yourself open to experience, despite what others think, then you will learn and grow.
There is nothing on the surface of the earth that will remove calories from your body or burn fat at the rate that getting in cold water will. If you actually read the story about Michael Phelps when he actually went to Beijing to compete in the Olympics, his caloric intake went to 10,000 calories a day. 10,000 calories a day. But why did it go to 10,000 calories a day? Not because his training regimen changed, because the pool he was in was 4 degrees colder than the pool he was used to training in. Water removes heat at 29 times the rate of air. You can die in 72-degree water. You cannot die in 72-degree air. So when we get into cold water, our liver panics and it floods the bloodstream with something called a cold shock protein. These are miracle proteins, and you have an endless supply of them every day. These proteins will scour the body of free radical oxidation. They will quadruple the rate of protein synthesis, muscle repair. If you want the absolute sweet spot for cold plunging, 50 degrees, 3 minutes minimum, 6 minutes maximum, once a day, it will change your life.
But here's what you should know about winning before you chase it. Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. And sometimes a guy doesn't outwork you and he still wins. It isn't fair, man. Sometimes there is no justice.
It's painful. It's fucking mind-numbing. And that is the truth. And sometimes going at it alone. All the time going at it alone, because no one's gonna believe in you. That's that.
Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind of creating fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? And why chase this thing called winning? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in life, if you don't chase it, is losing. But here's what you should know.
Jordan Peterson has a really interesting way of looking at this, and he said it to me once, and it made a lot of sense. He said, people think that you should be weak, and you should be docile, and then you should be a pacifist. He goes, no, you should be a monster. He said, you should be a monster, you should be ruthlessly ambitious, and then learn how to control it. And it's that old expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. It's an old expression, but it makes sense. Because it doesn't mean that you can't be kind if you're strong. But it does mean you can't be strong if you're weak. If you're weak, you're fucked.
When a hero stumbles, well, the cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall.
If you look at the heart, you discover that there's a bioelectric field that's coming out of the heart, extending 10, sometimes as much as 20 feet.
Do you feel like certain people, or everyone, has an energy field?
I mean, we know scientifically proven everyone has an energy field. Now, what I learned when I went to classes at MIT for applied neuroscience, I learned something crazy. I knew about this field, but I didn't know that, let's say we're in the room together, right? Let's say you're stressed out and your cortisol levels are spiking. That cortisol, that hormone is leaving out of your body, some of it, on your electromagnetic field and winding and interacting with my field, and your cortisol is coming into my body.
Damn.
So your anxiousness, your anxiety, your anger, your frustration could literally directly affect me by your hormones literally going down my field into my body and raising my levels.
Wow.
And making me feel down, depressed, angry, pissed off. But if you're in a high frequency, high vibration, the opposite can happen. And those hormones can come into my body and raise my vibration. So, when you say, when that person walks in the room, the room just lights up, that's actually a true statement. Some people have the power. They're walking in their true power, high vibration, high frequency. You can walk into a room and you can take somebody who's low and bring them to a higher level.
Wow.
If only we started younger, then we would have been so much better. If we knew back then what we did now, things would change. Here's the thing. Today is the youngest you'll ever be again. And you still have enough time to become all you wanted to be in life. The best time to plant a tree may have been 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now.
Like 3 things that you should stop doing immediately if you want to be happier. Number 1, you have to stop regretting the past. There's nothing you can do about it. Don't forget the past. You can learn from it and get better from it so you don't make the same mistakes, but you got to stop regretting the past. Number 2 is stop worrying about the future. Psychologists have found that 85% of what you worry about on a daily basis will never happen. That's a waste of your energy. That's a waste of your time. And then number 3, stop looking for your happiness in other people. Other people cannot make you happy. It is absolutely impossible. Happiness is 100% an inside job.